Christmas Eve service. Whoa, there I am. I am here. Yeah, I'm so glad you are all here joining us together. This is our annual 12 Powers Christmas Eve service, and this year we're doing it in person again. Yay! Woo! And the first time we're doing it, we're simultaneously live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So let's say hello to all of the people who are watching us online. Yeah, hi. See, you feel that? If you would just put something in the chat saying, hi, I'm here, then we'll know that you're joining us. And if you, for those of you who are here in person, if you would just kind of check your cell phone and make sure that it's on meditation mode through this service, I'd appreciate that. And if you're new to Unity Center of Peace, welcome. We so love to have you here. We are creating together and experiencing together this magical Christmas Eve service. And so, as we prepare to light the Divine Light candle, which is a celebration of the light, the birth of the Christ consciousness within us. But before we do that, I'd like us all to just take a moment and turn our focus within, go into the silence for a moment, and just feel connected with your heart center. Just allow yourself to relax into that space of love. Breathe into that heart center. Really feel the love and the light growing there. That joyous anticipation of the joy of this evening, the joy of Christmas, and the joy of this opportunity to awaken more fully to the divine that is within us and to share that with others. So it is.
So it is.
Oh, yeah. Jude's back. Woo-hoo. We've missed that. All right. So as we light this divine light candle, let it remind us that we are an integral part of that light. It is within us. And as we allow that divine light to grow and expand and shine through and in and as us, we become the light of the world. Yeah. And so I invite you to say with me our affirmation, which is also our opening invocation, which will come up on the screen in just a moment for the online people and for here. Let's just, again, take a moment and breathe into your heart center before we begin. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. All right. Come on in, have a seat. We're glad you're here. Thank you for being here. All right. So our service tonight incorporates the traditional Christmas story, but of course, being Unity, New Thought, we look at it from a little different perspective, a little more metaphorical and symbolic way. So the journey of Mary and Joseph to Bethlehem and all the characters and the animals and the angels and the baby Jesus and the star and their proximity to the winter solstice are all, they can all represent aspects of our journey, our spiritual journey out of the darkness of separation thinking and into the light of oneness consciousness. So that's kind of how we want to look at this tonight. And so we're celebrating together with people all over the globe this evolving awareness of consciousness in our minds and our hearts. We're also celebrating with people all over the world the birth of that magnificent role model and teacher, Jesus, who showed us how to create peace on earth. And so I invite you to just open your consciousness to, possibly see it in a new way, maybe, see a different view here, and one that will help expand your consciousness and your heart for this evening's service. And so now I am so happy to introduce our band here that is going to share the music for the most part for this evening. Chris Whiteneck, Karen Novi, Glenn, Andres.
Crushing load, whose forms are bending low, who toil along the climbing way with painful steps and slow.
I told you were in for a treat tonight. All right. Okay, so Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore came up with this interesting, unique philosophy or spiritual understanding that can help us develop our full divine potential, called the 12 Powers. And he identified 12 power centers within us that kind of correspond to specific areas of our body, but more our energetic body, kind of like the chakras. So, you can see how he, was influenced by Eastern thought. And so these power centers are really access points to specific aspects of our spiritual nature. And when we understand them and work with them and activate them, they really can help us develop into the full divine human being that we are, what we're fully capable of. And so tonight, we're going to focus on one power at a time and talk about it a little bit. We're going to have 12 wonderful readers, Unity Center of Peace members, that are going to come up here and share a brief reading about the power and how it relates to the traditional nativity story, and also how it can guide us in our life. So they'll come up and read this. They'll also say an affirmation once through, and then the second time they say the affirmation, the second time through, they're going to invite you to say that affirmation with them, and the words will be up on the screen, so you'll know. You're not going to, just look at it. And so the idea here is that as we affirm it, it really becomes awakened. If that area becomes awakened and activated. And so at the end, we'll stand and say all 12 of the powers. We'll affirm them all, and you'll see how they all kind of begin to work together, how they can really work together to help us grow into our wholeness, be the full people that we truly are. All right, so you want to listen also for a specific power or maybe powers that speak to you that might be a guide for you in the next year. So listen for that. Okay, and so here we go. If I could have Mel Carone and Jude Stafford come on up. I'll be reading the first reading.
Mary reminds us of our higher self and our power of faith. In faith, we are preparing every day to know truth and embrace it completely. With Mary, we express our power of faith, saying, as she did when she had a vision of divine oneness, my soul magnifies the Lord. We magnify good through joyous anticipation. We expect and know that every blessing is ours now.
Our affirmation of faith is through faith, I live in positive expectancy. I see the good that can be. So all together now.
Through faith, I live in positive expectancy. I see the good that can be. And here's Mark Malachi, who will be singing Mary, Did You Know?
blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. The great I am. The great I am.
Thank you, Mark Malachi. And now Dana Cohen will come up and read The Power of Wisdom.
Joseph reminds us of our power of wisdom, which divinely guides us. Like Joseph, when he was faced with a difficult decision, we demonstrate our power to open to divine guidance. And like Joseph, we open to a new state of consciousness, learning to understand and become spirit acting as us. We listen to our inner wisdom for the right balance of actions that can help us move forward on our spiritual path. Affirmation of wisdom: I embody wisdom. I trust and follow my inner guidance.
Embody wisdom. I trust and
and
follow my inner guidance. Thank you. And if I may have Cheryl Stevens to come up and read The Power of Power.
Joseph and Mary's journey from the relative to the absolute reminds us of the power of power. In response to the demands of our physical setting, we travel repeatedly from our ordinary place of physical residence, represented by Nazareth, to a spiritual place represented by Bethlehem. The new place of divine awareness supports us in our full expression of spirit. And when we evolve into spiritual power, instead of having to strain and struggle on our journey, we call forth our good, and we experience our needs being met fully and easily. So, the affirmation of power: I am a powerful presence, awakening others to their divine identity. Together. I am a powerful presence, awakening others to their divine identity.
Yes, now Mark Malachi will be up again, reading the power of love.
Jesus reminds us that we are all born to express divine love. Jesus represents our ability to open to and connect with our spiritual essence, which is love. Love grows daily in our hearts, and we recognize spirit in everyone we meet. It is expressing divine love that we become the light of the world. The affirmation is, I am the love that lights the world. I express love by seeing the good in all. Together. I am the love that lights the world. I express love by seeing the good in all.
Thank you. And now we have Oswaldo Mora, yes, and Marlene Medina coming to read the power of life.
Okay. The newborn baby reminds us of our power of life.
As we are born into spiritual truth, we awaken to our oneness with the Spirit. The baby of Nazareth embodies our shift from mortal to spiritual living through the quickening power of divine life.
And the affirmation is, I am divine life, ever renewing and expressing. I give life to divine ideas. Together? I am divine life, ever renewing and expressing. I give life to divine ideas.
Thank you. Now Juliet Cohen will come up and read the power of will.
Mary and Joseph's journey reminds us to turn within and, using our spiritual will, choose light. Like Mary and Joseph, sometimes we feel hungry or tired or sad or angry or anxious. and like them, we may find ourselves unwelcome and unable to find a place to rest. As was true for Mary and Joseph, the universe rejoices over our successes when we finally exercise our spiritual will to birth our new soul awareness, and our path becomes clear. With Mary and Joseph as models, we focus on our divine purpose and keep moving forward towards its fulfillment. The affirmation of will is, I stretch beyond limits and shine my light, whatever the circumstances. So let's all say it together. I stretch beyond limits and shine my light, whatever the circumstances.
Now Olivia Cohen is coming up to sing O Come, Emmanuel.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive
So Katie couldn't be with us this evening, and so Juliet is pitch-hitting here and reading The Power of Strength.
So this time, the shepherds remind us of our power of strength. An important divine resource represented by the shepherds is the power of spiritual strength. The shepherds symbolize our ability, aided by spirit, to move forward steadily and courageously, regardless of disappointments or obstacles. These wakeful guardians symbolize the patience, strength, and courage with which spirit endows us as we fulfill our spiritual purpose. The affirmation of strength is, centered in truth, I remain strong, patient, and courageous. Let's all say it together. Centered in truth, I remain strong, patient, and courageous.
Reverend Pat Venema is coming up to read The Power of Zeal.
The angels surround our spiritual birth with magnificent light and remind us of our power of zeal. The angels are messengers of spirit, manifesting directly from divine mind into reality. They celebrate our emergence into greater spiritual truth. They share the word of truth, empowering our ability to overcome all limited beliefs and conditions. The angels, singing in ecstatic harmony, heighten our awareness of our power to positively impact not only our own experience, but that of all creation. And the affirmation, I am inspired, enthusiastic, and focused. I am exhilarated in my sense of purpose. Together. I am inspired, enthusiastic, and focused. I am exhilarated in my sense of purpose.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. In excelsis Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? Say what may the tidings be? Rich, inspired for every song. In excelsis
And if I would have Chris Skythe coming up to read The Power of Imagination.
Power.
No.
The stable, used for the holy birth, reminds us of our power of imagination. We light the 9th candle to that power. Divine guidance enabled Mary and Joseph to imagine the stable as the shelter they sought for their baby's birth. Sometimes we find that a circumstance works perfectly, even though it didn't seem so at first. Our creative imagination allows us to co-create the life we envision and to see possibilities everywhere. The affirmation for imagination is, I am the power of imagination, seeing divine possibilities everywhere. Join me. I am the power of of imagination, seeing divine possibilities everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And substituting for Blanche this evening, we have Olivia Cohen coming up to read The Power of Understanding.
The wise men in the Christmas story had a deep understanding that something truly profound was happening in a place called Bethlehem, and they knew that they needed to be there to witness it firsthand. They followed their inner guidance and traveled long distances to live the truth as they understood it. Like the wise men, we can allow our deep spiritual understanding to guide us into action, living the truth we know. The affirmation goes, I am the power of understanding. I make meaningful connections between my beliefs, feelings, and my experience. Together. I am the power of understanding. I make meaningful connections between my beliefs, feelings, and my experience.
That was really beautiful. You guys were wonderful. Thank you. That just was chills. Ah, lovely. Okay, Catherine Smart, if I may have Catherine Smart to come up and read The Power of Divine Order.
The Star of Bethlehem reminds us of our power of divine order. This candle is lit for the Star of Bethlehem, the guiding light, foretold for generations. When the star appeared in the heavens, the wise astronomers, guided by their lifelong practice and study, recognized it as an expression of universal order and knew that it would lead them to perfect love, regardless of challenging circumstances. The star and the choice made by the wise men to follow it show me how to create divine order in my own life by choosing to focus on spiritual outcomes. And the affirmation of divine order is, I welcome divine order in my life experiences. And together, I welcome divine order in my life experiences.
All right, if I may have Tim and Mary Angela Walker come up and read our last power of release.
The new family's detour through Egypt reminds us of our power of release. Just like Mary and Joseph, at every stage of our spiritual awakening, we learn that we cannot become stagnant. We are always called to release our attachment to whatever we have outgrown that no longer serves our greater good.
The new family was warned to take a detour through Egypt to elude Herod's soldiers who were intent on killing the divine infant. Their choice to listen to inner guidance and release their original plan allowed their family to remain safe and whole. And the affirmation of release is, I release attachment to old ideas and embrace spiritual awakening. Together, I release attachment to old ideas and embrace spiritual awakening.
All right, those are our 12 powers. And so now I invite you to stand if you are able. And we're going to read all of these 12 powers together, affirm them together, and as we do, sort of see how they begin to awaken these centers within you and how they all work together to create one incredible whole. Ready? I am faith. I am wisdom. I am power. I am love. I am life. I am will. I am strength. I am zeal. I am imagination. I am understanding. I am divine order. I am release. And so it is. You may be seated. All right. And so this is our opportunity to share of our gifts tonight, our tangible representation of love and gratitude. So if I may have the greeters come by, thank you. And hang on, before we do that, I want to say, before you guys go, we just want to say our affirmation together and just give people an opportunity to, write a check or hang on a second, Jude, hang on just a second. We're not going to go yet. We're just going to take a moment. There are many ways that you can do this offering, obviously cash or checks, and also through our website. You can text. That's a really great way to do it because it kind of keeps track of your giving. And there's also Venmo. So many ways to do it, right? But before we do, I want us to all take a deep breath together into our heart center, and together we're going to say that blessing of our sacred exchange. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. It is, okay. thank all of you for sharing from your heart. In that way, we really appreciate it. And those of you online, of course, we know that you're doing that with us. All right, so it is now time for our candlelighting portion of the service. And so if I could have the greeters come and pass out the candles. We're doing it just a little differently this year. So Juliet and I will come, and once your candles are set out, not yet, we're going to be coming down the aisle and lighting the candle of the first person at the end of the aisle. And here's what I'd like you to do. We're going to hold the candle upright, and you lean your candle into the other person's so there's no dripping wax, right? And then on and on down the line. You share your light and really think about the blessing of light as this happens. Think about the blessing of light, both physically, it allows us to be here, not in the dark, and also metaphorically, that divine light within us. And as we allow it to expand and grow and we share it to others, it just grows brighter, right? It expands, and we pass that love from one to the next. Now, here's the new part about this evening. Because of COVID, we're not going to blow out our candles. You see how that would be counterintuitive to what we're trying to do with the masks. So what we're going to ask you to do is hold your candles through the song and the benediction, and at the end of the service, you're going to walk out, and there are 2 pots at either side of the door that have sand in it, and you just extinguish your candle, just kind of, just extinguish your candle in that. All right, everybody got that? So yeah, we're first going to start this by experiencing the sacredness of the dark and the quiet, and then we will have light, song, and transcendence. Everyone can stand with their candles while we sing Silent Night.
Round yonder
consciousness that we have experienced here and that light that has been ignited in all of us and that we've shared with each other creates such a beautiful, bright light that as we move out into the world, we take that light with us and we awaken the peace and the joy and the love and the light within every person we come into contact. And may there be peace on earth, goodwill towards all. Amen.
Joy to the world, every soul, every heart,
And nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. With truth and grace, and make the nations true. The Lord is righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. Merry Christmas all!
Merry Christmas.